Hello, 2022. How's that sound? Everybody say it. Hello, 2022.
2022.
Oh, it sounds weird. It does. It sounds weird.
It's coffee talk with Adika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stefan and all his friends.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. G.
Good to
Right
be here.
Right here. It's 2022.
I like
And
it.
before you do that, and what you're watching, what you're doing, if you don't know what you're watching, what you're doing, it's a human interest, health and wellness, interviews, banter, madness. But all you got to do is subscribe right there, right there, right there. That's what you got to do. Subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. Enjoy it, love it. Also, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It's everywhere, Dr. G. Everywhere. What do you think, Dr. G?
I like it.
I like it too.
Like that.
Anyway, so here we are. We're doing our thing. It's 2022. It's the weirdest thing to say.
I
You
think people
agree?
have been looking forward to this, though. It's again, we've had a couple of tough years here, and this is that transformational time where we can break free of what's been going on and move on with our lives, and hopefully, and newer and greater ways of being, not just going back to the old, which helped create some of the problems of today. So hopefully, we can all use this time of crisis to have a great 2022, everybody.
Yeah, I like the way you sound. You sound very into it. You sound full of. You got your coffee. You've been up for a while, huh?
Usually, but yes,
Did
I
you
have.
did you make a New Year's resolution for that?
No, all my resolutions are ongoing, so it's more about making sure I get back on, the schedules of things that I have to do, and we have great changes going on in our lives as well too. So we just it's I think it's about riding this momentum, this tide of change. Times of great crisis really are, everybody, the time we make the greatest changes in our life that can be really get rid of the old stuff that doesn't work and move into things that do work for us. So it's an exciting year.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. See, you started the year on the right foot. You started. You know what? Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Who's over here in the chat? You got
Yeah.
the Noodles over here.
The noodle, yes.
Reverend Jenny, Donnell's
Yep.
here. Lindsay's here.
Hi, everybody.
Teresa,
Yep.
everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see everybody. Marge, nice to see you. I'm looking at you guys right over there. I see your little names popping up. Thank you
Hmm.
for being here.
Yeah.
Reverend Jenny's here. Nice to see everybody over here. And thank you for waking up this morning
Right.
with us. It's always good when you're waking up, Dr. G. Laura
Yeah.
G,
It's
always
good
good to
to.
see you. So, anything good happened for, this Christmas is over.
Hmm.
And now the tree, how many people have their trees up still? You still have your tree up?
We used New Year's Day. It was really because this is Leo's first. Really, Leo's our 3.5-year-old. Everybody,
Mm.
and we were wondering how is he going to do with us taking down the Christmas stuff. He actually pitched in. He was okay with things going away, and you get to go into the attic and you got to see October Halloween stuff. So it's like, oh, Halloween's coming now. It's like, a little bit.
Ah,
But
oh,
but
Halloween.
yeah, yeah.
That's funny. I didn't take
Exactly.
anything down. I didn't do it yet. I figured, you know what? Because there was snow outside. I go till the snow is all gone. Then
Uh,
we're keeping it till the snow is gone. It just goes good with the lights,
yeah.
you know.
Miranda's a little funny about it. She was like the day after Christmas, take it down. It's like, all right, no, and so I'm pretty much a New Year's Day comes, boo, that's the time you take down your
Yeah,
Christmas stuff.
that's the
You
rule. That's the
m-
rule.
move into the new year, and I actually, I have little yard flags with Santa and things. I just put out my spring stuff because I'm trying to invoke spring in the air because I love springtime. It's like probably
Oh,
my
I do
favorite time
too.
of year.
I do too. Cooking with the Kid, thank you very much.
Hey,
Greetings from Disney World. Always good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. And this, God, the
he's
guy goes
in.
to Disney World so much.
Does he?
He's
He,
there. Is he working there? What are you doing, kid?
it's
What are you doing? It's nice to
yeah,
see the kid over there. He's having a
yeah.
good time. Yeah, I just feel like you work so hard. You
Hmm.
put the lights on the house. You get the tree. Maybe stretch it out a little bit. Keep it close to Valentine because then Valentine
Give it at
know,
least 2 weeks for Valentine's, okay?
well,
So maybe end of January, you know?
well, here's what I have to say about that. Because when you go into the garage
Hmm.
to put the, if you have a fake tree, you put it back in the bag, and you take out your Tupperware, the big boxes, the bins, the
Right.
storage bins.
Hmm.
So while you're pulling your Christmas ones out, you just do one of these. You pull out the Christmas, and then you
Hmm.
you're doing a swap. You
Yeah.
have to, Valentine, Christmas. You do one of these.
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
so that it just
Well,
that's
that's the
it.
kind of way we do, like, our little thing. We only have a few things out for our Thanksgiving time of year, but it's pretty much that way. You have, the Halloween stuff that immediately transitions into the Thanksgiving stuff that transitions into to Christmas, which for us, but we actually did already put up our little welcome thing with the cute little hearts for Valentine's Day. So we don't have that much for Valentine's Day. So
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. Let's see over here. Brian Noodle, what's he say? I don't need a Valentine Day to tell someone I love them. And you go always say, I think Hallmark made a Valentine, Brian Noodle. But
well,
you gotta.
the commercialization of holidays, I think, is a well understood thing. Not that most people, their view of Christmas is giving gifts, right? As compared to other things. So if we
That's
had more
right.
states, I'd leave up the tree.
Leave up the
Oh,
leave up the
yeah,
tree.
she wouldn't. She's like, take it all down.
Oh, she is
Um,
right. So she's just trying to hock your Chinik right now. Right? Is
yeah,
that what she's doing?
exactly. Yeah, don't fall for it.
Yeah. So how long? Okay. When did you put up the tree? How long's it been up?
Right after, seriously, after Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving's on the Thursday. We did it on that Friday or Saturday, something like that. So that's where we put up our Christmas decorations. I think the tree came out, a few days later. It was about, getting Leo some time to put up everything as far as that goes. So we start doing the Christmas decorations the day after Thanksgiving.
I started looking already online at Costco. They have the storage bins, but then they have the racks you could put them in. You could slide
Hmm.
them right in, and I think it's a great thing to have. So
Hmm.
I'm getting all crazy. Then I want to transform the whole garage into like to be a showcase looking nice garage.
Wow.
I, I I don't like having the clutter. It
Right.
bothers me.
I agree. Yeah.
But the problem is my wife is a clutter. She's a hoarder.
Right.
She has to save wrapping papers. We'll get a nice gift from somebody. You have to save the boxes.
Right.
It's out of control.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts. Just cleaning out. But I feel good about 2022 coming in. All joking aside,
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys did. We uh we 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 had watched a little of the CNN on Anderson Cooper and Andy
Hmm.
Cohen that they got wasted. And
I
I,
heard. Yeah.
they,
I
oh
didn't
they
see
got
it,
wow
but I heard.
it was great. I don't have cable because I have the Fire Stick. So I think for
Hmm.
the night, Amber just like bought or something like the
Hmm.
CNN. I don't even know about this. For the night,
Hmm.
she subscribed to a channel and then she canceled it just to watch. But we did lose Betty White. She was shy of being
Right.
100 years old. What a
Right.
life!
Yeah, everybody was getting all ready for her 100-year celebration, and bam, it just went out. So that was, I think that was the biggest surprise for everybody because all this hype was being made. Where, I went to the office yesterday and just to catch up on charts, and there's the People magazine, and it's celebrating Betty White's 100th birthday. Oops, and so everybody was getting hyped up about that, and that's why I think we made it such a surprise for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she was, I think, the most loved person in the industry and on
Hmm.
TV of the ladies about there. She lived a
Right.
long, long, wonderful life and always animal, real into animals.
Hmm.
And on Twitter, I
Right.
saw OJ posted on Twitter a tribute to Betty White. What a great person she was. I wonder what Betty White
That's
thought about
funny.
OJ.
Wow.
That's yeah, that's what I want. Yeah,
Uh,
she went and he was talking about how wonderful she was because he had cats, and he was describing the neighborhood where they lived. He started saying the name of the streets where he lived on Twitter, and I'm thinking to myself, the chaos you brought that woman in the
hmm.
neighborhood. You
Right.
driving around and the cops breaking stopping the roads because of her.
True.
Maybe Betty had to go to the grocery store that day.
Hmm.
And OJ, he had to really start.
That wasn't brilliant of him, but
No, no,
okay, there you go. Yeah.
it was ridiculous. And then here's the crazy thing with Betty White on the Mary Tyler Moore TV show. We've lost 4 cast members in the
Hmm.
year 2021 from the Mary Tyler Moore
Really?
TV show. Yeah, yeah. We lost in 21 actor Ed Asner.
Ed Asner, right? Yeah.
We lost Cloris Leachman, I believe.
Hmm.
Gavin McLeod, Captain Stubby.
Oh, Captain Sibby. Oh, he
Yeah.
was on. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he was on that show. I didn't know that it was on Mary Tyler
Yeah,
Moore.
he was on Mary Tyler Moore show. That's right.
Interesting.
That was three, I think.
Before Betty.
And then we have Betty. That's right. And Betty White.
Right, of course.
That was a four.
Wow.
Pretty wild, huh?
Well, it's a dated show, so eventually that's going to happen. So yeah.
I forgot that Betty was on the Mary Tyler Moore show. She was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I was supposed to have today do an interview with the original Bernardo George Chikaris of West Side Story, but it got rescheduled. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And I have a lot of good people I'm going to try to get from his publicist. A lot Hot Lips. I want to get her from MASH. Remember her?
Hot Lips Houlihan.
That's right. I want to try to get her. And
Absolutely.
yeah, Betty was also the last Golden Girl left. That is true. Yeah. And Hot and Cleveland. She was also on Hot and Cleveland. Yeah, she did a lot. She never remarried. Remember her husband was on the host of Password, I believe. Alan London, I think his name was. I think. I could be wrong. Dr. G.
Yeah.
And Dr.
Well,
G.
Betty, as much as anything, I think she, for especially as a role model for women, lived her life, like on her terms. And whether it was people fighting her with racist issues or with the other issues, she stood up for like kind of
She stood up.
for the common good and didn't back down, which is I think a theme for everyone. And that's why she's kind of a role model, is that you can live into those areas and you can adapt to the times and you can understand that there's bigger issues than yourself. So I think she lived large. That's the key part of it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point, is she lived. I mean, that's the whole, are we out there living? And that's, I think, again, this time of crisis, are we actually living the life we want to live? And so make sure that's what you get out of these types of things, is live your life. This fear of death thing, that is what sells, the fear of the viruses and all these other things, is just this kind of fear of dying. And so what we want to do is have like Betty White, which was emblematic of somebody who really lived without this. You at least didn't get it from her with such degree of fear of dying that you see so present in pretty much, especially the mainstream media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Laura G. She talked about how she wanted to be with Alan, a husband. Now she is. She was beautiful inside and out. Yeah, she did. She took a stand against. I guess there was something to do with a co-host or somebody on her show. Was it? What was? Do you know the story about that? There was something
Just
about the
superficially.
color.
So, yeah,
It was a racial thing, but she
it was a
took
racial
a stand.
thing. Exactly. She took a stand and said, "Hey, no, I'm going to have somebody who's a black man on the show, and that's what we're going to do, because he's a good dancer, I believe it was." And of course, that wasn't popular, and that was theoretically, at least from what I superficially I saw, was led to her losing her show. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
so that's somebody willing to stand on principles and not bend to, the common authorities of the world. And that's why we're, even the idea with medicine is you just, you make the recommendations based upon what's the best for people, not based upon what the authorities say. And we have to live our lives that way.
Yeah.
And I think she lived her life that way, whatever the consequences. That was the beauty of Betty White.
She did. She really did. She was always so cute. You see her on some specials. She'd walk out and she'd say hi to on just her interviews during the course of her life. But she seemed so full of life. She was preparing for a 100th birthday party.
Right.
She was only a couple of weeks shy from it too.
Right. But
But
that's So the way it goes, everybody should be. So I joke about at my death, I want to have this, like, everybody surprised that you're dead, because gosh, you look so good last week, because you don't want everybody saying, wow, it was really time for old Betty to go. Everybody was like looking forward to her lifestyle. I'm sure they're going to call it a life celebration now, but it's going to be about her passing. So it really is a pretty amazing. The American Comedy
She
Awards
received
there.
a total of 8 Emmy Awards, 3 American Comedy Awards, 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards, and 1 Grammy Award. She received the first award in 1983 for the game show Just Men. Thank
Right.
you. You're dumb too. Thank you for that very much.
And she would have had to, so be close to 60 or something, because she died at 100. I'm just
Right.
rounding some numbers there. It's about 40 years ago, which would have made her around 60 when she gets her first award, which also tells everybody there's no age limitations whatsoever for any of us in terms
That's
of
right.
what we think we can do. And so, I can't do that, or I'm about to retire. Screw that. Just move on. Just keep doing stuff. Live in your life. Live your life.
Yeah, look, her second award was for a Primetime Emmy in '86 for Best Outstanding Actress in a Comedy Series for her role as Rose. That's right, in Golden Girls, huh?
I
She was
like it.
sweet. That was a great show, Golden Girls. It really was.
I never actually saw
Never
it,
watched
so
it. It was
yeah,
good. It was
yeah.
good. How about the new Sex in the City? Are you getting into that?
No,
No,
no. I
it's
mean, it's
pretty funny.
sort of like the first one. I bet it. Yeah, it could be good. I mean, so, but
I'm
yeah.
I'm watching stuff from 2014, 2015, and I'm going to be honest. Last night, by the time, as you know, having a little one, you're up late at night.
Hmm.
There's a show called Banshee, and it was on Cinemax years ago,
Hmm.
and I'm watching the repeat. Just now, I discovered it,
Right.
and I'm binge watching it.
Are you?
1 o'clock in the morning till 3 a.m. That's what I'm doing, and
Wow.
yeah, and I was doing editing for our other show now on Fridays and Saturdays. I do Artist on Record, so everybody that's watching that, that's
Hmm.
how. Still talking wax. We're still doing the games and all that
Hmm.
good stuff, but I'm also
Hmm.
doing my interviews, Artist on Record, right here. Put that up so you see what the logo looks like.
Hmm.
Artist on Record, starring ADIKA Live. If you don't know who that is, that's me. And then we have everything is ADIKA Live. I'm changing the platform so when you put in ADIKA Live on YouTube, you find me, this guy right there, Stefan ADIKA. But I
You
was
handsome
you,
son of
you
a gun.
got to, yeah, but we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere. But I was editing part two of my interview with Kenny Vance. Kenny Vance is from Jane the Americans. So I have
Hmm.
a great story about him, and I'm going to show that Friday. And I think Saturday, it is the first Saturday of the month. It should have done it yet this past weekend, but we had, New Year's, we had to deal with that. So
Right.
we're going to do a game show
Hmm.
Saturday. And I think we're going to do the name. I think is it going to be the vinyl? I got to make sure, but
Hmm.
I'll let the people on Patreon know, and we'll see who wants to play. So please, if you're in part of the Patreon, let me know who wants to play this Saturday, and we'll set it all up. I have to get my schedule all together. I'm a little off. I'm allowed to be off,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
And the
because you're up
doctor,
to
yeah,
3 in the morning watching Banshee. Yeah,
I'm
that's enough
watching.
to throw anybody off. I don't
I'm
know what a
watching
Banshee is,
Banshee.
mind you, but
Let me tell you something. It's it's great.
uh-huh.
Basically, this guy takes his cop's identity and
Hmm.
he's in this small town, and
Yeah.
drama is happening. You got
Yeah.
drama, you got sex, you got action. It's everything that a late night show that will keep you up all night. It's like a drama. It's like binge watching. It's
There you go.
crazy. It's crazy, and it's a great show. And
Right.
Dice Clay is the one that turned me on to this show. And Dice always
Hmm.
goes, the thing this guy goes through. Like he feels
Hmm.
bad for the guy, but you'll like the show Banshee if you
Hmm.
haven't seen it. And I think it's the time now, Dr. G, that we 7:18, and
Hmm.
I think it's time to get the doctor here to ask some
Excellent.
questions in the audience and
There you go.
what's going on in the news. Just remember, everybody, it's the thingy it's called, and let's
Yes.
meet the doctor. Here we go.
Ask the doctor what you should do. Ask the doctor a question or two. It's all right here on Coffee Talk. It's all pain-free without the shot.
All advice is free. Please call 911 if you need assistance.
All advice is free.
Right.
And subscribe, hit that bell to be reminded. As I told you, we're on Spotify, Apple Radio, all that good stuff with Dr. G over here, middlepathmedicine.com. If you are
Right.
listening to us in your car, middlepathmedicine.com is the place to go and get some herbs and spices and some vitamin C from him too.
Herbs
So
and
Dr.
spices.
G, herbs and spices. I like just saying
like
that
it.
because you have little liquid things you can put in your tea.
We have herbal
and I
tinctures,
yeah.
and we can just call them spices. I like it.
I like
Yeah.
herbs and spices. It sounds good. It sounds like you're
Yeah.
making a nice soup.
Yeah, there you go.
Like
And,
I'll
yeah,
mix
a
it all
health
together.
soup.
A
Um,
health soup, Here's
Probably
something
the first thing we should talk about health, everybody, is make sure you get a good night's sleep. Unlike our host here.
Totally. I am exhausted. Look,
Right.
what's to say? Banshee or Stefan? What's over here? Donnell. Banshee or Stefan show, Reverend Jen. Yeah,
Yeah.
Banshee's a great show. I want everybody to watch. I was looking over. Here's something that caught my eye, and it was about the Rolling Stone, Ron Wood, and Ron Wood.
Mhm.
A long time. I guess we lost last year Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones. Like
Mhm.
due to cancer. But Ronnie Wood, there was an article here about him that he refused chemotherapy for his cancer. Ron Wood had cancer too, and it came back two times. He had it.
Right.
Yeah, in April 2021, Ron Wood learned he had cancer again, small cell cancer. That's what he had, but he didn't want to take the chemotherapy because he didn't want to lose his hair. He insisted on keeping his trademark mop of hair. Yeah, Ron Wood. Originally, it was he had lung cancer, which was found in a routine checkup, and that's how we found out he had it. Yeah, lung cancer. What do you think about that? And refusing
Well,
the
just
chemo.
let's remember how we talked about the modern Western doctor is a specialist in prescribing drugs. Okay, so and a medical oncologist is not a specialist in cancer. They're a specialist in using chemotherapy to treat cancer. And so, and our world mindset is if you have cancer, you have to see an oncologist, which I do recommend, by the way. But then when you look, especially with small cell lung cancer and the minimal differences that chemotherapy makes in terms of survival, which is on the order of maybe a couple of months of life, at what cost? Then you'd say, wow, I wonder why I do chemotherapy for that. Now, as time changes, everybody, there's there's targeted chemotherapy, there's immunotherapies, there's other things before the standard. Eventually, we all look forward to the day where we're not doing standard chemotherapy, which just treats growth, and that's why there's so many GI complications and hair complications, like Mr. Wood was concerned about. And it isn't, But the main thing is how much difference have we made in terms of solid tumor survival? And when it comes to small cell lung cancer, it's on the order of difference. Chemotherapy versus not doing chemotherapy, you're talking about maybe adding a month or two to your life. So why would you put yourself through chemotherapy in that instance? Couldn't I do something else? And that something else may be nothing, just living your life. But unfortunately, that's one of the more severe cancers, is fairly refractory to treatment. When I say that, you'll get a dramatic decrease in tumor volume and then a dramatic increase right afterwards. It looks like you're having success, but you're really not. So it was not a bad choice for that cancer, everybody. It really wasn't.
Yeah. And Ron Wood did say with small cell cancer, he did overcome it. He just didn't want to have chemotherapy to be a part of it, and because of his hair. But he is okay, and he came through in the end. He's all clear now.
Right.
And pretty well.
And if he did that without chemotherapy, then he must have done some form of other therapy, which means that's something beyond what the oncologist told you to do, which is prescription chemotherapy. Are there other things across the world? That's where when I do integrative oncology, there's a lot of other things you can do out there. Well, if you're not, my biggest successes in the cancer world is to integrate therapies. Some form of targeted chemotherapy with natural therapies together have been the best combination. Sometimes even using standard chemotherapy in refractory tumors. But if you look at the survival data for many of the solid tumors out there, you just don't get much benefit from standard chemotherapy. And so
Reverend Jenny, I knew someone who got cancer, took chemo because she didn't want to live anymore and passed away in 6 months.
Well, there's better ways of dying than chemotherapy death. I mean, that's a kind of a, so that's one way of looking at it is, but instead of kind of torturing yourself with chemotherapy, it's like live your life. And as the tumor progresses, then, get yourself set up. Hospice is such a great organization. Most people don't take advantage of it early enough. They will support you, support your family, do grief counseling. So, support your local hospice organizations. They're so important in terms of society because, again, remember you're saying all this fear of death. We're all going to die. We're all afraid of something that's going to happen to every single one of us. And so can't we die consciously? Can we understand that these processes are going to occur? And that's the thing is that work with people to get comfortable with the process of dying. The great, Stoic saying memento mori, which is, contemplate on your death every day. It's a healthy thing to do, actually. Not being more morose about it. It's just being aware that, wow, I can live my life like I could die this afternoon. What would I do? How would I live in my life? And so, and I wouldn't necessarily say, gosh, I don't want to live anymore. Let's do chemo, because that's kind of like torturing myself. That's a lot of psychopathology went into that decision, but that's the way it goes. Yeah.
Right. What a way to torture yourself on that, huh?
See, exactly, yeah.
Now since we have the holidays, everybody's going on their workout plans and all that. Everybody's like Are you throwing away all the sweets? Now the thingy that's out there, and we call it the thingy.
The
There's an
thingy.
art I see CNN says, can weight loss help protect against the thingy? Have you heard is that true, Dr. G? Can it protect you losing weight?
Yes. Actually, this metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance is one of the key components of risk, especially in unvaccinated individuals. Thanks. And so we do. And so get people to live without the fear of death. It's such an important thing. So memento mori, everybody. I have a coin that says I carry with me, and I just make sure I think about it, and bring my attention that way so that I'm actually living. So yes, it's important to understand that this thingy does replicate in fat cells. The fat cells themselves will lead to a pro-inflammatory effect. So the more fat cells you have, unfortunately, the worse the case will be. That's why in unvaccinated people, especially, extra fat tissue correlates with worse outcomes. And so losing weight. So again, not a New Year's resolution, everybody. This a resolution, okay, to be the best version of yourself. Healthy sleep patterns, healthy exercise patterns, healthy whole food patterns. And again, the biggest movement in the nutrition world is doing some version of time-restricted feeding. Time-restricted feeding means that you find an eating window. I use, in general, 12:30 to 6:30 is my eating window, which is where I'll eat a lunch and a dinner somewhere in between 12:30 and 6:30. So 6-hour eating window, 18-hour fast. It doesn't have to be that, but if there's anything in the longevity, the question was about immortality, anything about longevity, time-restricted feeding, spending some time in keto metabolism, some time in fed metabolism is a really good way to promote health and well-being. And so many good things that we can do. And then occasionally, you go out and you have some pie, and you enjoy those treats. Remember, that's an important thing as well too. And so, but yes, losing fat will help decrease your risk of catching, and if you do catch it, having a less severe case of the thingy.
Interesting. And also in the news, it's saying, and I'm trying to say this without getting in trouble, but I want to give a little knowledge out there, and you know all this. Well, the FDA authorized I don't even know if I could say, but the boosters for 12 to 15-year-olds, they authorized that. So that they passed that, huh?
Right.
So now
I don't even recommend the jab, we'll call it. We don't recommend the jab under 18 anyways, period. Getting the first series as compared to even getting the next. If you look, there's still no proof that you're preventing hospitalizations in that group, and because the cases still aren't severe at that point. So is everybody going to get the current version of the thingy? And the answer is everybody's going to get it. Look at the case rate in the country. It's crazy. But look at the case rate in South Africa, everybody. Do yourself a favor and go to thingy statistics and look under South Africa, and you see this huge spike up for 2 weeks. They started at the beginning of December, and now it's cascading down again because you're hitting for the closest thing you're going to ever find towards herd immunity. Hopefully that's okay to say herd immunity.
I don't know.
Will be when most people have caught this version, and then we'll have to deal with the next version of the thingy later. But yes, in the meanwhile, what a great time to say, wow, I got to start taking care of myself and use this thingy in the world as a reason to really live, as compared to being afraid of living, which is again, unfortunately, what a lot of people have been doing.
I think we got to start the new year also. Get up a little earlier. Don't get stuck watching Banshee at night. Get a night's. If you can wake up early, spend at least a good hour before you start your day. Whatever you're doing, walk, exercise, get on your, just get your mind together. Reverend Jenny just wrote over here. She lost 12 pounds last year, but it took me the whole year to do it. It is. The older we get, it's hard to lose the weight.
It is. It's tough to lose weight, especially as we get older. And so the main thing, especially metabolically speaking, is, I think stress management is the key for everybody. Is that the reason they don't stick with weight loss is they feel stressed and they don't eat the foods they should. They don't exercise the way they should. But as we grow older, is it tougher to lose weight? Absolutely, everybody. And so that's why anybody who's on that journey, just make sure your journey should be about being as healthy as you can be. And if the weight comes off, that's the main thing. How do I feel? How is my energy? How is it jumping, getting up and down the stairs? How do I feel? And those things are a bigger thing than our weight. An important thing with age, everybody, they've actually shown, it really is, a pound a month is something to celebrate. But the key is actually, as we get past 50, they've shown that it's all that really matters from a mortality standpoint, and even from a morbidity, your risk of dying and or getting a disease is actually physical fitness. Okay, so and as you imagine, if you're doing stairs and you weigh 20 pounds more, if you're doing the same amount of stairs, no matter what weight you are, then obviously you have to have bigger muscles if you carry around 20 extra pounds. Now, I'm not saying this is the greatest strategy, everybody, but the key actually with age is physical fitness more so than weight. That's the thing that correlates with how well we do. Our mitochondrial function, all the markers, biomarkers of aging correlate better with fitness than I was going to say adiposity, percent body fat, and so get ourselves out there. Just the daily walk, everybody, or the daily swim, or the daily bike ride, or get some things out there, get some resistance in. Whether it's pushing a vacuum around to
pushing a vacuum, you lose some pounds cleaning at home, right?
You can push and pull. Get one that you have to push and pull a little bit. Come up, be creative. If you're not a weight person, you don't like kettlebells, and you don't have to use kettlebells, but you have to get the muscles going. It's such an important thing.
Water jugs.
You could do anything. My big thing is these days is carrying Leo around. He still loves to be carried. He's like 45 pounds. He is a workout. So I'm walking the hills with Leo is like kind of my current program as much as anything, everybody. And then when he doesn't want to be carried, I'll have to come up with something else because that's the way we do.
That's what you do. Over here from Wally Grove, he wants to say, is it safe? You can't even, if you could say these names on, I'll put it here, but use code words for everything here.
So it's just your typical. I actually put out an article calling the current variant, I'll say, as a Christmas miracle, and because it wiped out the previous, I'll use the previous variant, and so it really will save millions of lives. This current variant, millions across the world. I'm talking about, not just in America, and yes, we will all get this one. This one is so transmissible. For the most part, it's actually. Almost even if you don't wear an N95 mask, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. It just doesn't even work anymore. It doesn't seem, because it's so transmissible. And it's a cold flu combo. It's a little bit more somewhere between a cold and a flu in terms of this one. But I would just tell you, you will get it, and so so there's nothing to be afraid of. You're going to get this one. It's going to be mild, and so. And somewhere between a cold and a flu. Exactly. And the degree of fear, the fact that you're not seeing this dramatic, that's the mainstream media, they're not focusing on this dramatic decline in South Africa, are they? The dramatic drop-off that they're seeing, the uncoupling of hospitalization from the virus. The case rates are meaningless right now. So they're scaring everybody with case rates, which is the highest it's ever been, okay? It was going to be. It's the most transmissible variant that's ever been so far. And so we'll all get it, and then we'll get over the cold, and we'll just go live in our lives, everybody. So it is a Christmas miracle.
That's right. Breck is a vitamin guru for my kids as well as my wife and I.
Absolutely. And talk to people about those things. It's and remember, supplements are just I use supplements instead of vitamins, but supplements are just another line of intelligence. And we have our exercise line of intelligence, our whole food line of intelligence. Just like last week when we were talking about eat an egg, don't do a weird substitute for it. Eat real food, everybody. No matter where you lean, eat real food. Avoid the processed foods. Cook more things for yourself. Get away from the restaurants, except for occasional treats. Okay, and then supplements are just a separate line of intelligence. On the Middle Path Medicine site, we have the basic nutritional protocol, and so there's things that I tell. Yeah, if you're breathing, you should be on these things. When do you stop taking them? When you stop breathing. So it's a fairly simple protocol. I'm not saying that everybody has to do it, but it's a good idea to work on your supplement line of intelligence, especially if you want to be healthy at 50, 60, 70, 80. It's not going to just happen, everybody. The drugs and surgeries will keep you alive. The question is whether you want to be.
That is the question over there. MiddlePathMedicine.com. You could check all that out. And today, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you will be on Instagram
I
Middle
will.
Path Medicine over there. You'll be talking about today. What are you going to be talking about?
I'm hoping this will be the last of the update because I just put out that article. We talked a little bit last week as well as like getting people to this place because I'm making changes in terms of what I'm telling people to do vaccination wise and otherwise. So it's going to focus on that, and then we'll hopefully going to go back to more truly metabolic health, and of course supplements are going to be part of it. But the latest research on things like time restricted feeding and all the rest of the things that we focus on.
Yeah, yeah.
Because health, you don't, there's this old saying, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And I think you don't really understand that much until you get older, especially if you've had health challenges. It makes such a difference. When I had Delta beginning in November, again, it took me away from my normal routines. I couldn't exercise because I was coughing, etc. And I wasn't as healthy. And it's taken me a while to get back as far as that goes. And so, yeah, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, basically.
Yeah, the cases in Australia, yeah, they're going through the roof.
And stop testing. Just assume you have it. I'm really that way. I know for the most part, if you catch something right now, it's going to be this current variant. And so then treat it. Use the acute viral protocol, the things we tell people to do. I'm not saying, and what we were saying earlier is it's somewhere between a cold and a flu in terms of severity, what I've seen so far, in terms of actually many, many people. And so the bug, no. There's always been some degree of croup, which is a variety of different infections that cause a croup-like cough, everybody out there. So there's been less overall infections, but the exact rate of croup I really don't know right now, so I'm not going to comment on the things I don't know about. But there's been no flu, so that's another thing. They sold the twindemic, meaning, oh my gosh, there's going to be a flu pandemic. Almost not a case in the country like there wasn't in Australia. And so why are we selling vaccines so hard when we don't need them? And the answer is to make people money. And as soon as people see that, then they'll question everything about the vaccine world and realize that those are occasional interventions that I should be doing, but not listening to the authorities that are just trying to sell me shit. And so, because being afraid of influenza is not worth it. Being afraid of most illnesses are not worth it. Not that, and so, but no, this virus is taking up a huge niche in terms of what's causing infections these days, people. So, and no, it's never fun to get these things. Just like when I got Delta, it wasn't fun, but it's something you got over and it affected your health. But it gives you a chance to really evaluate how important your health is. And so what a great awareness to have. And so because illness is meant to do that for us. That's why cold is often the number one thing that correlates with getting a quote unquote cold is actually your stress level. So many people, when you catch a cold, it's your body's way of saying, dude, take a frickin' break. I've been trying to get you to take a break, so finally here, I'm going to let you catch a cold, and it's your inner wisdom getting you sick, so you finally take a break. So let's not wait until we get a cold to take a break. Let's take breaks.
Don't wear down your body.
And so, and why are we so afraid of every virus in the world? Isn't that an interesting phenomenon, how we've learned to be afraid of things? You made an impact because we've talked so much, and how afraid people are of an egg, okay, is fascinating, okay, that we've learned such horrible misinformation that we're afraid of cholesterol, afraid of eggs, afraid of things. It's just profound how much that enculturation has affected people in such a negative way that we're afraid of things. And so, and yes, the media loves to scare us, Reverend Jenny.
Well,
so,
and then Shantina says, hey, she read an article that Wendy's is one of the most healthiest restaurants out there. That Wendy's, there it is.
Right.
It is that time, Dr. G. We got to get out of here. It's the witching hour.
I don't know. I haven't read that article, but make your own food. Most fast food, I would tell you, is not very good. Wendy's might be better than others, but I don't go to any of those. So anyway.
But if you're going to pick one, that might be the best one for you. Okay.
Right.
Everybody, Happy New Year in the chat. Thank you for being here, putting your questions, your opinions, everything in there. That's wonderful to see everybody here. What eggs are bad for you? I eat eggs daily. We'll talk about eggs later, but we got to get out of here, everybody.
Exactly.
Okay. I love everybody. Happy New Year. Take care of yourself. Down below in the links, you can check out middlepathmedicine.com. They got great vitamins. They got a lot of great stuff there. Also, make sure everybody subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when we're coming on, as always. And please, in the comments below, let us know about today's show. Right. If there's a question that we skipped and you didn't get a chance and you think about it later, put it in the comments below. We'll answer it. I'll make sure the doctor answers it too. Until then, everybody, it is that time. Start your day. Make it a good one. It's 2022. It's up to you to do it right. Until then, Dr. G, myself, and I, we are out of here, kids. Mazel and love. Mwah.
Peace and love, everybody.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. With Stefan and all his friends.
What a handsome guy, Dr. G. What a handsome guy, huh?
Just too much. Just too much.
Too much, right?
Yeah,
It's too
yeah.
much. The guy is just handsome and sexy.
It's
Everybody,
what
check
he's
out
supposed to
Dr.
do.
G. Instagram, 9 a.m. today, Pacific Standard Time. Until then, everybody, if down below if there's something that you like, click on it, and we'll see you Wednesday. Mwah. Bye, everybody.